Hey everyone. It's been a while that I did a video on previews for Raw, SmackDown, and I wanted to talk to about you about how I got into wrestling. It was an idea inspired by the Wrestling Rampage through a friend of theirs, I think was, or one of the subscribers. I don't know who it was, and heard this story and I want to share with you on how I got into wrestling. It all started back in 1985 when I was about 9 years old. Yeah, 9 years old. And it was during the time when Vince McMahon um, um, ended his contract with WTBS because he bought the WTBS contract because funded for WrestleMania. And I got interested after that through Jim Crockett Promotions or the NWA uh, with Tony Schiavone and David Crockett on WTBS, and I got hooked on it. And you got I watched the formation of the Four Horsemen, Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, so many wrestlers at that time, and I got hooked on watching WTBS on my local cable station here in Toledo. So I, like I said, I got hooked. So the next year, 1986, I'm still watching the NWA on WTBS, and one day, it was I think it was early Saturday or Sunday afternoon. I forgot what day it was. I was watching a Detroit station, WJBK or W. I think it was WKBD. Forgot what station it was, and I was it was WJBK because I remember I was waiting for watching cartoons because Channel Two was a CBS affiliate at the time, so I was waiting to watch cartoons and they showed this commercial for WrestleMania 2, and I thought it was the NWA. It was actually the at the time WWF, World Wrestling Federation, and I went like, wow. And you have to remember, Showtime at the time um, showed WrestleMania 2 on a Monday with three cities hosting that event: Long Island, New York, or Uniondale, New York, in the National Coliseum, home of the New York Islanders, um, Chicago, Illinois, not in the Chicago Stadium, but in the Rosemont Horizon, and the Los Angeles Sports Arena. And three of those events have, or three of the sites have main events. One was the box match between um, Roddy Piper and Mr. T, which was a good bout, and that's how I got into boxing too. It for a little bit. Um, I thought the main event at the time was to me still was the NFL versus WWE wrestlers battle royal, which won by um, Andre the Giant, and the real winner of that of the real main event of that in Chicago was the British Bulldogs versus the Dream Team. The British Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine, managed by Luscious Johnny V. And the Bulldogs were managed by Captain Lou Albano, and accompanied them was Ozzy Osbourne. Yes, Ozzy Osbourne was part of WrestleMania 2. And I think, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer now. And the third and final main event, the main event of the whole WrestleMania 2 card was Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy in a steel cage for the WWF Championship. And this 2 years before the famed Wing Eagle belt debut. and I watched the whole event on Showtime, and that's how I got hooked on wrestling. And since then, I never looked back on watching that event, any event, like on Peacock with WWF or old school WWF or WWE events or past NWA events, WCW events, um, because whenever there was a big event coming up, like say Survivor Series coming up in next month, because I can't even wait for War Games. I've watched past pay per views to get ready for um to get ready for the event. And for Christmas, I always do this. Around December, um, is doing the Starcade events. Um, to watch, it's a Christmas tradition of mine to watch past Starcades. But I love watching wrestling when I was little, since 9 years old. And like I said, I got into wrestling in 1985 through WTBS via my grandparents, um, at my grandparents' house. And like I said at the top of the um, video, or to say this blog, or to say vlog, vlog. Anyway, um, it, I got hooked in 1985, and I never looked back on watching wrestling. Since then, WWE, um, um, NWA on YouTube. Never watched the shiny new toy for wrestling fans, AEW. Only watch AEW for ROH matches. That's it. And I love watching wrestling. And comment down below if how you found out watching wrestling and how you got hooked on wrestling, so I could read it online and I can comment on how you discover wrestling. So I want to thank Wrestling Rampage for this idea where they were talking about how they discover wrestling. So I want to see you next time, and don't forget to click subscribe if you want. So so long from the Glass City.